After my mom and dad made me gather my stuff and threw me out without any notice, they now desperately beg me to come back home, claiming they need help. But when I uncovered their real dark motives, I was left utterly shocked. Be me, 31-year-old Ethan, working as a civil engineer in Chicago. Moved there from my hometown of Nashville at 23. That was 8 years ago now. Built a pretty decent life for myself. Stable job designing infrastructure projects. Good group of friends I hang out with regularly. Most importantly, complete independence. Relationship with family has always been okay. Not the super close, call every day type. We check in occasionally. Meet up for holidays and birthdays. The usual stuff normal families do. One Tuesday morning in October, phone rings with mom's number. Strange. She rarely calls out of the blue. Answer it curiously. She starts normally, asking about my life. How's the job? How's the weather in Chicago, etc. Then suddenly drops it. Your father and I have been thinking, maybe it's time for you to move back home. What the actual fuck? Laugh because I think she's joking. She's not laughing. Her tone is completely serious. She says the family is going through a rough time. Says it would mean a lot if I were there. This makes zero sense. Ask if someone is sick. Is it money problems? She quickly shuts that down. It's not about money, she insists. We just need you here. That makes even less sense. If it's not health issues and not financial trouble, then what the hell is it? Keep asking for specifics. She dodges and says cryptically, you'll understand when you're here. Before I can dig deeper, she changes subject and ends call. Not even an hour later, my older brother Nate calls me. We were never super close growing up. Got along okay, just different interests. He skips all small talk. Mom and dad need you here. It's selfish for you to ignore that. Whoa, aggressive much? Ask him what's actually happening. All he says is, things aren't great, man, just come back. Then starts guilt-tripping me. Says I abandoned the family when they needed me. That's ridiculous. I just moved out like millions of normal adults do. I didn't cut contact or anything. Starting to get annoyed at this point. Later that same day, younger sister Lily messages me. Unlike with Nate, we've always been pretty close. But even she's laying on the guilt. You know how much mom misses you, right? She cries about it sometimes. I don't know how you can be okay with that. What the actual hell is happening? This feels coordinated. Something isn't right. Over the next few days, messages start pouring in from people I haven't heard from in years. Distant relatives suddenly acting like we're best friends. Aunts, uncles, cousins I barely know. All with the same message. Family sticks together. So excited at the thought of you moving back. This is getting seriously weird. Strangest part yet. Family friend contacts me about a job in Nashville. Says he has an opportunity lined up for me. If I move back home, too convenient to be coincidence. Something is definitely not adding up. Family has never been this pushy before. Their sudden interest in my life feels unnatural. Time to investigate. Decide to start testing people's reactions. Call Lily and casually mention my lease isn't up for another 6 months, just to see how she responds. She hesitates awkwardly. Oh, that's, not great timing. When I ask why, she suddenly has to go. Suspicious as fuck. Something is definitely happening. They're hiding something big from me. Next morning, mom calls again. Decide to test her too. Tell her I won't be able to move back until next year. Thinking she'd just accept it and let it go. Nope. Her voice immediately changes. So you just don't care about us? She snaps. After everything we've done for you. Completely thrown off by this. This isn't a casual invitation anymore. This is straight up manipulation. Starting to get worried now. Later that same day, hear loud knocking at my apartment door. Open it to find dad standing there. No warning, no heads up. Just drove 3 hours from Nashville to Chicago. Like it's completely normal behavior. Gives me this long, intense stare before saying, we need to talk. He isn't angry exactly, but definitely not calm either. Keeps saying I'm being difficult. Says I'm overthinking everything. Ask him point blank what's really going on. He sighs dramatically. We just need the family together right now, that's all. That's not a real answer. Tell him I'm not moving back, at least not anytime soon. He just shakes his head. Leaves without another word. What the actual fuck? After that, the pressure intensifies. Mom starts calling multiple times every day. Nate keeps sending passive-aggressive texts. Even Lily, who usually stays out of drama, suddenly trying hard to convince me. Feels like they're all closing in on me. Starting to feel overwhelmed. Then something really strange happens. Old friend from high school messages me. Haven't spoken to Greg in years. He saw a vague post I made about family acting weird. His message is short but disturbing. Whatever you do, don't move back. Trust me. That's it. No explanation, no context. Just that cryptic warning. Reply asking what he means. He leaves me on read. Now I'm not just suspicious. I'm legitimately worried. The messages don't stop coming. Every morning there's something new. Missed calls from mom. Creepy voicemails where she's either crying or speaking in this unnaturally soft voice. Nate isn't as dramatic, but his texts are relentless. Short, passive-aggressive jabs. Guess family doesn't mean much to you anymore. Hope you don't regret this later. Even distant relatives joining in. People who barely acknowledged my existence before, suddenly sending guilt-laden messages. All about how family sticks together. How things will be so much easier if I just come home. This is beyond weird now. It's becoming scary. Then my cousin Thomas lets something slip. We were never particularly close. Strange when he messages me. At first it's the usual guilt trip. How my parents miss me. How moving back would be good for everyone. Then he casually drops. Since they already made arrangements, it's not like it'll be hard for you. That stops me cold. What arrangements? What the fuck is he talking about? Ask him directly what he means. He backpedals fast. Says he was just assuming things. Too late though. He confirmed my suspicion. They aren't just hoping I'll move back. They've already planned for it. Without telling me. Call my parents immediately. Dad picks up, sounding calm but firm. Ask him directly about these arrangements. He doesn't even try to deny it. Just brushes it off. Says they simply prepared for the possibility of my return. When I press for details, he pivots back to how things will be better if I'm home. No specifics, no explanation. Just the same vague insistence that I need to be there. This is getting creepier by the day. Decide to start my own investigation. Check property records on a hunch. Take some digging through public databases. Find something strange. My parents recently refinanced their mortgage. That alone isn't proof of anything. But considering how desperate they are to get me home, it feels suspicious as hell. Then Lily slips up during conversation. We're talking about something completely unrelated. She casually mentions that our parents recently fixed up my old bedroom. Just in case, she says. Just in case of what? I haven't lived there in 8 years. They had zero reason to suddenly renovate it, unless they were planning for me to move back, without even asking me first. That same night, reach out to Mrs. Jensen, old neighbor from Nashville. Keep the conversation casual at first, just catching up on neighborhood gossip. But when I mention my parents, there's this weird hesitation in her voice. Then she says something odd. Something weird has been going on over there lately. When I try to ask what she means, she immediately backtracks, says she doesn't want to get involved. Definitely something wrong happening. Then Nate tries a new tactic. Instead of the usual guilt tripping, sends dramatic message about mom's health. Claims she's been getting worse. Says my absence is making things harder. Might have worked if I wasn't already suspicious. Instead of panicking, I check mom's Facebook. She posted that same day about shopping. Even included a picture of herself, laughing and carrying shopping bags. She looks perfectly healthy. Nate is straight up lying to me. Things get even weirder. Family friend calls me Mr. Wilson, someone I haven't talked to in years. Conversation starts polite enough, then turns oddly insistent. Brings up how everyone would feel better if I moved back. How I could help fix things. When I ask what needs fixing, he dodges the question. Just says it's about making things easier for everyone. They're not even trying to hide the manipulation anymore. Decide to make a counteroffer. Tell my family I won't move back, but I'll visit for a weekend to see them. Should be good news, right? A reasonable compromise. Instead, their reaction is bizarre. They seem hesitant, almost uneasy, like I've messed up their plans somehow. Dad barely responds. Mom suddenly acts like she doesn't care if I visit or not. Nate goes silent for hours. Finally sends vague text. That's not really what we meant. What the actual fuck? Finally, Lily cracks. Late that night, she sends cryptic message. It's not about what they told you. It's about what they didn't. That's enough. Stop waiting for them to tell me the truth. Time to find it myself. Start searching public records. looking for anything connected to my parents. Finally find something. A lawsuit they're involved in. Some kind of legal battle. Can't access the full details yet, but it's serious enough to be filed in court. That's not even the worst part. Check my own financial records. Something I should have done earlier. And there it is. A massive loan taken out in my name. I never signed anything. Never agreed to anything. But somehow my name is on the paperwork. That's why they wanted me back. They took out a loan using my identity. They needed to keep me close before I found out. Before I could do anything about it. Don't tell them what I've discovered. Hire a lawyer quietly. If they stole from me once, what else were they planning? What would have happened if I had actually moved back? Thoughts making me sick to my stomach. Lawyer doesn't take long to confirm my suspicions. The loan in my name is completely fraudulent. Signatures forged. Paperwork full of inconsistencies. But that's just the beginning. Digging deeper, lawyer finds worse news. My parents have been using my social security number for years. Opened multiple credit lines under my name. Taking out small amounts here and there. Carefully avoiding triggering any major red flags. Been going on so long that by the time I noticed, they'd already racked up significant debt. Feeling absolutely betrayed. Lawyer explains my options. Can file police report immediately. Start process of clearing my name. But that means officially turning against my family. If I wait too long though, they could do even more damage. Tell lawyer I need time to think, but already know what I need to do. Right on cue. Dad tries a new tactic. Suddenly claims he's having heart problems. Know immediately this is another manipulation attempt. Especially since he was perfectly fine just days ago. Sends messages about his declining health. Says the stress of the family situation is literally killing him. Make sure to mention how much it would mean to have me home. How everything would be better if I just came back. Not falling for this bullshit. Instead of reacting, have cousin Jake check on him. Simple visit, nothing dramatic. Jake's response comes back quickly. Dad is perfectly fine. No heart issues, no emergency. Just another fucking lie. Start gathering every piece of evidence. Every text, every voicemail, every suspicious message. Document everything in case I need legal protection. Then decide to push a little. Call my parents, keeping conversation light. Casually mention looking into my financial records. Reaction is immediate and telling. Mom's tone shifts from concern to defensive in seconds. Tells me to let the past stay in the past. Says some things don't need to be dug up. Keeps talking over me. Trying desperately to change the subject. That tells me everything I need to know. Nate makes the next mistake. Unlike our parents, he doesn't realize how much I've figured out. In a moment of frustration, he lets something slip. Tells me they were just trying to fix things. Says they had no choice. Backpedals immediately, but damage is done. He just admitted they knew exactly what they were doing. Relay everything to my lawyer. He strongly advises filing police report ASAP before more damage can be done. Also suggests contacting my bank directly. When I do, get final confirmation. This wasn't a one-time thing. Fraudulent loans taken out over several years. Some paid off before they could be noticed. Others ballooned into major debt. This wasn't an accident or mistake. This was a long-term, calculated scheme. Everything makes sense now. The sudden warmth from my family, the guilt tripping, the job offer, the desperate attempts to get me home, all of it was a ploy. They had been stealing from me for years. But now that I started looking into my finances, they were desperate to get me back. Before I could expose their full scheme, instead of confronting them directly, decide to set a trap. Tell them I'm considering moving back. Play along, pretending to weigh my options. Then drop the bait. Tell them I could move in 3 months. 5 minutes later, Dad calls. Same man who was supposedly too sick to function, suddenly full of energy, insisting I need to come next week. Not next month, not in a few weeks. Next fucking week. That's all the confirmation I need. They're not worried about family. They're worried about time running out. Don't answer any more of their calls. Finalize everything with my lawyer. Legal process has officially begun. Finally face the harsh truth. To them, I was never a son, was never family. I was just a financial asset, and they would stop at nothing to keep control. Early one morning, loud, insistent knocking at my door. No warning, no heads up. Check peephole and immediately tense up. My parents are standing outside my apartment. They drove 3 hours unannounced, just to talk. Open the door but don't invite them in. Dad stands stiffly, scanning my face, like he's trying to read my thoughts. Mom behind him looking frantic, her eyes red, hands wringing together. Step outside, shutting door behind me, making it clear they're not coming inside. Dad speaks first, tone carefully measured. Starts off calm, saying they just want to clear up any misunderstandings. Don't say anything, just let him talk. Doesn't take long before he starts poking around, trying to gauge how much I know. Asks vague questions about my job, my plans, whether I've thought more about moving back. The way he's watching me. This isn't casual conversation. It's an interrogation. Mom suddenly cuts in, voice shaking. Starts talking about how they always did everything for the family. How sometimes you have to make hard choices to keep things together. Never actually admits anything. But she's not exactly denying either. The way she's speaking, it's like she thinks I already know everything. Nate and Lily are standing a few feet behind them. Nate looks uncomfortable, shifting his weight, avoiding eye contact. Lily won't even lift her head. That's all the confirmation I need. They knew. They had known this entire time. Decide to test them further. Pretend to be considering moving back. Keep voice neutral. Mention I've been thinking about it. The shift in their demeanor is instant. Dad's stiff posture relaxes. Mom lets out this breath like she's been holding it for hours. Then almost immediately, the pressure starts again. Dad wants me to move within the week. Mom starts talking about how they've set things up for me already. When I ask what that means, she brushes it off, saying everything is taken care of. Then comes the part that really sets off alarm bells. Mom, still sniffling dramatically, mentions I need to sign a few documents. Just basic paperwork to make things easier. Ask to see these documents. She hesitates. Dad shoots her a quick warning look, then steps in saying they left them at home. How fucking convenient. Tell them I can't move that quickly. Have work commitments, loose ends to tie up. Dad's tone shifts again. Patience wearing thin. Starts talking about how refusing to come home is making things more difficult. How family is supposed to trust each other. Doesn't raise his voice. But there's an edge to it. Like he's warning me. Push back with another test. Tell them I'm planning to quit my job soon. We'll visit home to figure things out. Complete lie, but need to see how they react. It works perfectly. Mom lets out this shaky laugh, nodding rapidly like everything's finally falling into place. Dad looks satisfied. They completely buy it. Once they leave, call my lawyer immediately. He warns me under no circumstances should I sign anything they give me. Almost certain they're trying to tie me into something legally. Probably more financial fraud. Things get even worse that night. Check my credit score. It's dropped significantly. Confused, go through my credit report. Someone has maxed out multiple credit cards under my name. Didn't even know these accounts existed. They're still using me, even as they were standing in my apartment, pretending to be concerned parents. They were actively draining my finances. That's the breaking point. No saving this, no second chances. They aren't desperate parents who made a mistake. They're liars and thieves. Only thing they care about is what they can take from me. Call lawyer again. We're done waiting. Time to take legal action. 2 days of silence follow. After weeks of constant calls, messages, and guilt tripping, family suddenly goes quiet. No missed calls from Mom. No passive-aggressive texts from Nate. Nothing. Feels like the calm before a storm. Then things start happening. Bank accounts begin acting strange. Small delays in transactions. Failed Logan attempts. Then a freeze on one of my credit cards. Call the bank. They tell me someone tried to access my account multiple times, triggering security measures. Call my lawyer immediately. He hits me with something worse. My parents attempted to file paperwork to gain financial control over me, citing concerns about my ability to manage money without medical proof or my consent. Their request was quickly denied. They were trying to take full legal control of everything I owned. Paperwork was denied, but lawyer warns this is only the beginning. If they're willing to go this far, they won't stop now. Then the smear campaign starts. Lily, who had been mostly quiet, suddenly becomes active on social media, posting vague messages about family betrayal, how some people turn their backs on those who raised them. Doesn't mention me directly, but I know who it's aimed at. Relatives join in, liking and commenting, making it clear they've been fed whatever story my parents are spinning. Doesn't stop there. Old employer reaches out, confused. My parents contacted them, asking if they would rehire me, acting like I was suddenly jobless and in need of help. When former boss asks if everything's okay, assure him I have no idea what they're talking about. Then comes the voicemail, mom's voice thick with fake concern, pleading for me to call her back, claims they're worried about my well-being, just want to help. It's the same tone she's used before, but now I know what it really means. She's not worried about me. She's worried about losing control over me. Next part catches me completely off guard. 2 police officers show up at my apartment. They received a welfare check request. According to the report, my parents claimed I had been acting erratic, might be a danger to myself. Keep calm. Lawyer already warned this could happen. Have documentation prepared. Explain everything. Hand over legal records proving what's going on. Give them my lawyer's contact information. They ask standard questions. Seeing everything is fine. Leave without further issue. Could have gone a lot worse. After that, my lawyer takes immediate action. Begins freezing any accounts my parents had access to, securing all my financial records. Process isn't instant, but with every step I'm cutting off their reach. Then we move to the next phase. Officially file fraud charges against them. The moment that paperwork goes through, the floodgates open. Mom calls over and over, leaving voicemails that switch between crying, pleading, and trying to convince me to just talk before things get worse. Dad sends a single final message, short, cold, and to the point. You don't know what you're doing. Block them both immediately. Block Nate too. Only person I don't block yet is Lily. She hasn't been directly involved in the fraud, but she knew about it. She stayed silent. Not sure where she stands, but for now, keep the line open. Even after blocking their numbers, they start reaching out through different channels, different phone numbers, unknown caller IDs, fake social media accounts. One thought keeps circling in my mind. If they were willing to sabotage my finances, what else would they do to stop me? The silence from my family doesn't last long. A few days after I cut off my parents and Nate, Lily finally reaches out. Her message is short. She wants to talk in person. Meet her at a coffee shop far from my apartment. She looks exhausted, like she hasn't slept in days. The moment we sit down, she blurts it all out. Our parents' business was failing, had been for years. They had taken loans under my name to keep it afloat. Not just 1 or 2 loans, but multiple. At first it was small amounts, just enough to cover shortfalls. Then as things got worse, the loans got bigger. My name had become their safety net, a way to borrow money without risking their own credit. She hesitates before adding something worse. Nate had been involved too. Hadn't just known about it. Had helped forge documents. That explained everything. The pressure to move back, the sudden warmth, the urgency. One of the fraudulent loans was under investigation. They needed me back so they could convince the bank. I had willingly taken it out. If I had signed anything when they asked, it would have locked me into the debt permanently. Lily is terrified. Wants out but doesn't know how. Our parents still control everything in her life. She's scared of what they would do if she left. Tell my lawyer everything. His response is immediate. If I want to protect myself, I need to file the lawsuit now. The longer I wait, the more damage they could do. So I do it. Lawsuit is officially filed, blocking them from accessing any more of my finances. That's when things explode. Dad leaves a voicemail, furious, screaming about how I'm ruining everything. Mom takes to social media, posting dramatic messages about betrayal, about how some people forget where they come from. Extended family members start sending messages, accusing me of turning on my own parents. Then the story changes. My parents start telling everyone that I was the one who stole money, that I had secretly taken out loans, and was blaming them to cover it up. Some relatives believe them, others stay quiet, then get an unexpected call from distant Aunt Meredith. She hadn't been involved in the chaos before, but had seen Mom's social media posts, decided to reach out. Tells me this wasn't the first time. My parents had been caught up in shady financial dealings. Years ago, they had borrowed money from another family member, never paid it back. There had been rumors, but nothing had ever come of it, until now. And then just as suddenly as he had been pushing me to return, Nate vanishes. No calls, no texts. At first, he kept pressuring me to move back. But once the lawsuit was filed, he stopped contacting me completely. Suspect he's either trying to avoid legal consequences or working on his own defense. Raises a new suspicion. Is he just avoiding consequences? Or is he planning something else? Meanwhile, Lily makes a decision. She wants out, asks if she can stay with me, no longer trusting our parents. I agree immediately. Not going to leave her stuck in their mess. Then the final warning comes. An anonymous voicemail. No name, no details. Just a low voice saying, "Watch your back, they're not done yet." Fraud, manipulation, false reports. It had all failed. But what would they try next? The first anonymous message comes late at night. Just a single text that reads, "Drop the case while you still can." Ignore it. Second one comes the next morning. "You're making a mistake." Then the calls start. No caller ID. First time I let it go to voicemail. Nothing but heavy breathing on the other end. Second time I pick up. A low voice says, "Walk away or you'll regret it." Then the line goes dead. Report it to my lawyer, who advises me to document everything. We both know who's behind it, but without proof, there's nothing to be done. Then something worse happens. One morning I go outside, find my car sitting lower than usual. All 4 tires have been slashed. At first think it's just vandalism, until I have it towed to a mechanic. After checking under the hood, he gives me a grim look. "Your brake lines were cut." Whoever did it wasn't just trying to intimidate me. They wanted to cause real damage. File a police report immediately. Officer takes my statement, but without cameras or witnesses, there isn't much they can do. He tells me to be careful, suggests installing security cameras at my apartment. That's the next step. Install cameras outside my door and in my parking space. Change my locks. Lawyer warns me to be extra cautious, especially after we receive confirmation. Someone attempted to access my bank accounts again. Even after everything, they're still trying to steal from me. Then Dad shows up at my apartment. Haven't spoken to him since I blocked him. But there he is, standing outside my door, knocking hard. Don't answer. Knocking turns into pounding. Open the door just enough to step outside, making sure he can't push past me. His face is red with anger. He demands I fix this before it's too late. Keeps saying I'm making things worse for everyone, that I'm being dramatic, that family handles things privately. Then he makes a mistake. In the middle of his rant, he slips, says something about how Nate only did what was necessary to keep things running. I don't react, but I caught it. He just admitted Nate was handling the fake documents. After he leaves, tell Lily. She finally breaks down and confirms it. Nate had been forging paperwork for years. He knew exactly what he was doing. Then messages from extended family start pouring in. They call me selfish, ungrateful, cruel, claim I'm destroying the family over some money. That same night, my parents invite me to a family dinner. They want to talk things through. Lawyer immediately tells me not to go. Too risky. If they got me alone, they could try to manipulate me into signing something. Or worse, decline immediately. Then a childhood friend from Nashville calls. Oliver heard what was happening through mutual friends. Your family is spreading some crazy stories about you, he warns. They're making you out to be some greedy villain. Be careful. Next morning, lawyer tells me, we have enough grounds to discuss. Filing a restraining order against my parents and Nate. They aren't just emotionally manipulating me anymore. They sabotaged my car, continued accessing my finances, sent anonymous threats. That night at 2 a.m., phone buzzes. A voicemail from Mom, her voice broken, desperate, shaking with sobs. Please, please just drop this. We only did what we had to do. We had no other choice. Please don't do this to us. By the time sun rises, lawyer has a new update. Formal fraud charges are imminent. And now with everything they've already done, one thought keeps circling in my mind. If they were willing to sabotage my car, what else would they do to stop me? The fraud case is now officially public. Lawsuit has been filed. Court date is set. There's no going back. My parents can no longer sweep this under the rug or try to handle it within the family. That's when everything starts falling apart for them. A source, someone who still lives in Nashville and has connections, reaches out to me, tells me my parents' business is in far worse shape than they had let on. The debts they'd racked up were unmanageable. They had been using me as their last-ditch effort to save themselves, and now that I had cut them off, their financial collapse was inevitable. Nate, who had been defensive before, completely stops reaching out. No texts, no calls, nothing. My lawyer suspects he's negotiating a deal for himself, trying to throw my parents under the bus to protect himself legally. Then things take a turn. Police contact me. They've received a harassment complaint against ME, filed by my own father. According to his claim, I had been stalking and threatening my family, making their lives unsafe. It's an outright lie. Haven't seen them in person since Dad showed up at my apartment. Lawyer acts fast, countering the false accusation with a defamation lawsuit against Dad. If they want to play dirty, we're ready. That's when my extended family starts backing away. Some aunts and uncles who originally sided with my parents begin distancing themselves after learning about the fraud. Maybe they believe my parents at first, but now that everything's going public, they want nothing to do with it. Then get a cryptic message from Lily. I cannot take this anymore. I am leaving. She refuses to disclose where she's going. Don't push if she's trying to escape them. I'm not going to do anything to put her at risk. But then my lawyer delivers the final blow. He hired a private investigator just to make sure my parents weren't trying anything new. What they found was worse than expected. Even after the fraud case had been filed, my parents had attempted to use stolen personal information to apply for another credit line. However, since I had already alerted my bank and placed fraud alerts on my accounts, their attempt was flagged and blocked before any damage was done. That's enough to get a restraining order approved. My parents and Nate are now legally prohibited from contacting me, coming near me, or interfering in my life in any way. And that's when Mom has her public meltdown, goes online posting dramatic social media messages about how a mother's love was being punished, about how certain children forget the sacrifices their parents make, about how money had poisoned family values. Then the last message comes. Dad leaves one final voicemail, his voice filled with rage. You will regret this, mark my words. Block every single family member involved. No more warnings, no more chances. Then my lawyer confirms it. Nate is trying to negotiate a plea deal, shifting all the blame onto our parents, now with overwhelming evidence. My lawyer assures me of one thing. My parents are about to face severe legal and financial consequences. And with the court date approaching, realize this is only the beginning. After months of legal proceedings, the court date finally arrives. My parents and Nate walk into the courtroom, looking completely drained, their confidence from months ago completely gone. No fake smiles, no attempts to guilt me with sad looks. They already know they've lost. Judge reviews the evidence, bank statements, forged documents, fraudulent loans, every piece of proof laid out. Makes it impossible to deny what they've done. My lawyer has done his job well. Dad is the first to speak, trying to deflect blame, insists he did not know what was happening, points fingers at Nate, claiming he was the one who handled the financial matters. But it doesn't work. There are signed documents with Dad's handwriting, emails confirming his involvement, clear proof that he had been in on it from the start. Then Nate's deal is confirmed. As expected, he agreed to testify against our parents in exchange for a lesser sentence. Claims they pressured him into forging the documents, making it seem like he had no choice. But that defense falls apart quickly. His emails, signatures, and financial activity show he was just as complicit. He wasn't a victim. He was a full participant. When the sentencing is announced, judge makes it clear this was not a misunderstanding, not a simple financial mistake. It was deliberate fraud. My parents are ordered to repay the fraudulent loans, on top of heavy fines. Nate receives probation with financial penalties, plus a criminal record. Then Lily does something unexpected. She had refused to speak to our parents for weeks, but at the last moment, she submits a formal statement about the years of manipulation and financial abuse they had put us through. She details how they had always controlled us, how they saw us as tools instead of children. Mom finally breaks down in court, sobs saying she was just a helpless mother who only wanted to protect her family, begs for mercy, for a lighter punishment. But judge doesn't buy it. You did not act as a helpless mother, he says. You acted with intent. Actions have consequences. No sympathy, no reduced penalties. The full weight of their actions falls on them. Outside of court, the fallout is brutal. Word spreads quickly in Nashville. Their neighbors, their friends, even the few extended relatives who still sided with them. Everyone knows what they've done. Their business had already been failing, and now with their reputation destroyed, there's no way they can recover. Then comes the last desperate plea, an email from a new account. No name, but I recognize the writing immediately. It's Mom. She begs for money, claims they have nothing left, pleads for me to not abandon them. Delete it without responding. Meanwhile, Nate's life falls apart. His employer finds out about the fraud case. He loses his job, with a criminal record and debts to pay. His future is ruined entirely by his own doing. Lily finally gets out, moves to a new city far away, cutting off all contact with our parents. For the first time in her life, she's free, and so am I. Relocate, change my number, completely erase them from my life. No more fear of what they might try next. No more worrying about stolen finances, manipulation, or threats. I don't forgive them. I never will. But for the first time in months, I feel free. They had wanted me back for support, but all they truly wanted was control. Now they've lost everything and I've finally won.